Hey buddy, Sam back once again. This is the Honor 5X. And is this the best phone for sub £200? Well, hopefully I clear that up in my video today. Here's my review of the Honor 5X. Right, what I'm going to do first of all is going to run down the main specifications, get this out of the way. So we're rocking a 13 megapixel camera on the back and a 5 megapixel on the front of it. The back camera takes very good images if you give it enough light. If you don't give it any light, they do get a little muddy and kind of a little grainy, but that's kind of standard, especially at this kind of price point. It's actually better than the majority of them in this price point. But if you give it enough light and if you give it some decent light, you'll get some pretty damn good images. And pretty much same with the front-facing camera. It's a 5 megapixel camera, and again, if you give it some decent light or you give it some light, it'll be good for your Snapchats, for your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, etc. It's going to do exactly what you want it to do. Again, it's not going to win any awards for the best camera in the world, but for sub £200, you're not really going to get much better, especially at this kind of price point anyway. On the front of the display, it has got a 5.5 inch, a full high definition display. So yes, it is a full 1080p display at 5.5 inches. And the pixel density, what I think the calculation's right, is 401 ppi, which is a very high pixel density, especially for this size. Again, a full 5.5 inches. And for those people that like on-screen buttons, boom, it has on-screen buttons. So it does take advantage of the full screen of that, obviously including those buttons at the bottom of it. And with inside the device, we are rocking a Snapdragon 616 or a Snapdragon 616, as I like to say it. Rocking 2GB of RAM and also 16GB of internal storage. Now, what does that mean? Well, 16GB is what I expect every phone to come with going forward. Flagship phones should be at least 32 and above, but 16GB is very good, especially again, on this kind of price point, this kind of level of phone. You're not going to be unhappy with that. It is enough to get you started. The bonus of this one is it does take micro SD cards. So on the side of it, just about here, as you can see there, it does have 2 SIM slots. And the top one here will take your nano SIM card, as well as your micro SD card, up to 128 gigabytes. Yes, you heard me, 128 GB. That's pretty fantastic. Again, at this kind of level, you don't really expect it to take that kind of higher capacity card. Underneath it, the little second slot is for a micro SIM card. So you're not compromising by having, oh, you can do dual SIM, but if you want to put an SD card in there, you have to take one of the SIMs out. You can truly do 2 SIMs and a micro SD in this phone. Again, even not at this price point, just as a phone in general, there's not many phones on the market that give you this kind of flexibility and as this much function. But when you think it's sub 200 quid, it is just absolutely awesome for that. Obviously, we have as radio, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. A couple of little downers for myself is it doesn't run. I can't get 5 gigahertz networks. It doesn't run AC, so it doesn't run Wi-Fi AC, but it does get your normal standard, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi NG, AB, etc. They're all completely fine. And again, you probably won't notice the difference. It's just kind of like me. I like having them, but again, at this kind of sub £200 price point, you can't really complain of not being on there, because other devices more expensive than this don't do that as well. So again, for me personally, I would have liked them, but hey ho, they're not there. It doesn't really hinder the phone at all though. One of the killer things though is that bad boy. You see that, you're thinking, oh, what's that? It's got a little hole in the back. That, my friends, is a fingerprint scanner. So if you've seen my Honor 7 videos, and if you've ever played with like a Nexus 6P or a LG Nexus 5X, I think of the words then they've all got a very similar fingerprint scanner. Now, unlike the Samsung and Apple implementation, you don't have to turn the phone on to use it. You literally just tap it and you're in there. So just to show you, the phone's off, I'm tapping on there, I'm in the phone. Yeah, it is that instant. Now, the only way I can really show you, I should have set some kind of mirror up, is when you do press on it, it goes straight into the phone. So just to show you, I'm going to push it forward and hopefully you can see the actual phone turning on. So, let's get where the fingerprint scanner is in the back. So 1, 2, pushing it forward, boom, we're in the phone. 1, 2, 3, pushing it forward, in the phone. 1, 2, 3, pushing it forward in the phone. So you can kind of see, as soon as I tap it forward, within around a second or so, in fact under a second, boom, the screen turns on and away you go. So think about it, phone's in your pocket, you pull it out, you tap it, boom, you're in your phone, happily you start doing it, away you go, boom. To me, that is just fan-bloody-tastic. This fingerprint scanner is better than my Galaxy Note 5. It's better than my iPhone 6, the S6 Edge that I've had. It is quite simply one of the best fingerprint scanners you can buy in any phone, regardless of the price. But to say this is in a sub £200 phone, again, it's crazy they've been able to put it into this device. What we'll do is we'll give you a quick look around the phone itself. So on the top of it, hopefully you can see there, it's got the 3.5mm headphone jack and the secondary microphone. It's got your dual SIM slots there. So again, you can have a nano card and a micro SD card in this one, and then a micro SIM card in the bottom one. On the bottom of the phone, we're rocking 2 speaker grills. Now, it's only one of them is a speaker, the other one is just there for decoration. And then you've got your micro USB for charging and syncing it. Now, while we're talking about these, are they any good? They're okay. They're not going to win any kind of awards for your home entertainment system, but for YouTube, playing some games, general web browsing, etc., having a bit of music in the background, they're okay. They do lack a bit of a punch. They're pretty loud when you do rock them up to the full, but they kind of lack a bit of that bass. Not really much of an issue for me because I don't sit there thinking, tell you what, I'm going to play all my music and this is going to be my home entertainment system. I generally use headphones or I'll hook up to a Bluetooth speaker. So for me, it's a non-issue, but if you want something with the best quality speaker in the world, go spend £450 or something like the Nexus 6P. But for sub 200, it's perfectly acceptable. You can't really complain at it. Another impressive part of the actual device though, it is an aluminium build. So you're not getting a plastic phone for this kind of price. Again, for this kind of price with the specifications, what you're getting, you'd normally expect kind of, a plastic kind of feel phone. You're not getting that with this phone. You're getting a nice metal design, and the metal goes all the way down the sides, all the way down that side, and at the top it's got these little plastic caps. You can't really tell unless you actually look for it that they are plastic, and they feel nice anyway, so they don't feel cheap. The only bit of plastic you'll feel that doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel as premium as the rest of the phone, is kind of like the edging around it. So you can kind of see that shiny plastic on there. That's the only, I wouldn't say the downside, it's the only part that doesn't feel as premium as the rest of the phone. But in terms of when you do hold it, you don't feel it much. It's only when you kind of go, oh yeah, you can kind of feel it like that. But when you're holding the phone and you're kind of playing with it on everyday usage, you're not going to notice it. So don't worry about it. You're not really going to notice that part. In terms of the buttons, as you can see there, you've got your power button, you need volume up and down. Now, they're actually textured, so you can actually feel a bit of texture on them. So when you're feeling them, it's like, oh yeah, they actually feel really, really nice. It's actually pretty cool. And again, it's another little design aspect that you don't really see in this kind of price range. It's normally just a flat, cheap button. A bit of extra details being put into it to make sure you're getting a nice feeling button. It sounds strange, but if you're like me, you'll know what I mean. Now, it's okay talking about, it looks nice, it's got these specs inside there, it's got pretty beefy specs for, it's kind of a rangy device, but how does it perform on a daily basis? Does it slow down? Does it get laggy? Does it go slow, etc., etc.? Now, again, with it having 2 gigabytes of RAM, some people will go, it's not enough in there. It is enough. Now, it uses what's called Emotion UI. Well, it's called EMUI. It was previously known as Emotion UI. Some people keep saying it's a skin of Android. It's more than just a skin, and it's something that kind of annoys me when people go, oh, it's just skinning of Android. It's not. It's kind of a redevelopment and a different way of looking from Huawei's eyes, e.g. Honor, of how they want their phones to kind of go. Some people will go, oh, it's just an iOS rip-off. And to be completely honest with you, it can seem like that because you get your normal iOS options pulled down, you can search for it. I love that feature. I wish that was in stock Android, to be honest with you. Yes, it is very iOS-y, but it's cool, You don't want to find something, pull it down, start searching, job done, and away you go. Another kind of thing I like over stock Android for this one is actually the notification area. Now, when you've got no notifications, it automatically goes to this. Now, in stock Android, and again, this is something people are going, oh, I wish this phone runs stock Android from other videos I've seen. It would be cool, but I like some of the features that Honor have in their devices, this being one of them. If you've got a Nexus device and you've got the stock Android right now, you know that in Marshmallow, Lollipop, it's just an abomination, is the actual kind of area here. You pull it down again, and it looks awful. I don't care what anybody says, it's just a crap implementation of the kind of notification toggles, not the notification toggles, the kind of toggles for your Wi-Fi, etc. I don't like it. Again, it's down to personal preference. I like this. And then you can swipe across, and then you get your notifications. So if you have like an email, etc., they're all here for you. And I like that. So you can have your notifications here, swiping across, you have all your kind of little toggles. Again, you either like it or you don't. And again, some people are going to say, Sam, that's very iOS. Kind of, and I guess I can understand with regards to the swiping from side to side, but iOS doesn't have these. This is something completely different, and you can actually have more options here as well. So it's not just that, and you can then edit them at the bottom, which I think is pretty cool. But apart from the way that that kind of looks, how is the performance in terms of kind of flicking around, going into apps, etc.? What I'm going to do, I'm just going to load up a few apps, go in and out, and we're going to see what it does perform like. So an example of it, let's start off with a camera application, because this is pretty, one of the most important things you want to kind of have on a phone. And what we'll do is we'll bring in another device. So I've got an Honor 7, and I'll kind of show you the performance in terms of the camera. So you can tap on it, that will tap to focus. You can then change the kind of the white, so a bit more light, a bit of darker, etc. So let's say I'm happy with it like that. I'm happy, let's take the picture. And there's no kind of lag on it, it takes the picture and happy days. And there's the image. Now, I don't know if you can see, it's got quite a lot of detail. If it's just a focus on my camera, it's got quite a lot of detail on there. It's not as blue as that, it's looking a little bluer. In person, it does look like the purple here. It's just in regards to the camera, that's all. And again, look, you kind of see like near the camera module. That's a good image. I mean, granted, I've got some pretty decent lighting here right now, but that's a bloody good image. And again, it's a fast and fluid experience as the camera itself. We're going to go out of it, we're going to kind of bog it down now anyway, because just going to show you, I'm going to use the apps, not just load them up. So let's say the Google Play Store. So let it load up, obviously it's dependent on your network connection. I'm currently running on H Plus right now. So let's say we're going to go into something, go out of that one. We then want to load up the file browser. Boom, do want to agree to it? Yeah, why not? Boom, let's go out of that one. Then you go to your phone dialer, go back out of it. You want to go to your messages, go back out of it. Go back to Chrome, go out of it. And let's say you're going to go to the gallery, go back out of it. So we've got quite a few apps running now. I'll show you that in a moment. In terms of this here, so you've got a few applications running in the background. So we're going to flick from one to the other. So kind of go into your gallery, go back out of it. Let's go to the files, go back out of it. Flicking across, let's go back to the camera. How's camera doing? Yep, camera's still there. Let's go back out of it. Let's go back to Chrome. Let's go back out of it. I've not actually used Chrome on this one for a while. To fact, I've not used Chrome. Oh, it's just the built-in one. Again, back to here. Go to your contacts. Go to your dialer. Back out of it. Go back in. Back to the camera. You probably see it's not a slow device. The kind of how can I say it? The kind of smooth, how smooth it is. I think it's a very good experience. Again, for a sub £200 phone, you don't normally get this kind of experience in terms of the speed. And some people say that the Snapdragon 615, again, this is using the 616, which is the slightly upgraded version of that one, that it kind of slows down, it gets crap, etc., etc. I've played some games on it. Granted, I'm not a massive gamer. I tried Asphalt 8, and tried one of the FIFA games, and they seem to run pretty cool to my eyes. Again, I'm not a massive gamer, so I'm not going to say this is the best gaming phone for this, but it runs it perfectly. 2 gig of RAM, the kind of processor and the GPU, it's more than capable of running majority of your games. Is it going to run the latest games in 4 years' time? Probably not, but neither is the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, etc. So you need to kind of weigh that in for you. In terms of, kind of, again, the UI aspect of it, it's just, I like it, I don't mind it, but I don't mind iOS, so, so sue me. When you go into your settings, it looks like this, but you can have a general option as well. So I think this makes it easier for the casual user that doesn't want all the options like, wow, what's this and what's that? Have general instead of having all of them. So you go, oh, there's my Wi-Fi, I'm happy with that. There's my brightness, there's my wallpaper, there's my font, my sound. It just gives you an indication of what you can do in a general kind of option. I think this is cool. It's dumbing it down to some degree, but some people need that. Yeah, they're not all tech heads like me and you. So obviously it's a phone. How does it perform as a phone? I've kind of rambled on a little bit so far. Hopefully you've got the gist of the kind of review so far. Is as a phone, it's good. It gets pretty good in terms of signal quality. I've got 3 bars now. This is currently running on the 3 network, and it's doing pretty good. If I use my iPhone as an example, because I've got that on the 3 network as well, I normally get around 2 in this room, and it shows me 3 on here. It does go down to 2 and then back up to 3, down to 2, back up to 3. And I don't know if that's an indication of if it has got a better signal, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how fast it kind of performs in terms of locking onto a signal. I can't really complain with that. In the middle of my town, I get 4G. This is a 4G compatible phone, so you are good to go in terms of that. It runs obviously 3G as well, so you're not going to get problems. And it's pretty quick at going from 3G to 4G. I've kind of seen it just go seamlessly from one to the other, which again is pretty impressive. In terms of the speaker quality and the actual microphone quality, the people I've spoken to on the phone have not really complained. They've never said it sounds bad. They've said it just sounds like a normal phone. The earpiece quality, it's okay. It could be better, but I've heard much worse phones as well, for a lot more expensive than this one. So it's going to be good enough. Honest answer, it's not the best I've heard, but for this kind of price, I'm not going to hold it against it. So what I think I need to do is just kind of give you a little bit of a check sheet. Hopefully I've kind of spoken about the things you want me to talk about for the actual phone. I am going to have some other videos with regards to storage, etc., stuff like that, how much you get free inside, when you do open it up. Now, this is a review unit, so I will hopefully be getting a full retail unit, and I'll be doing the videos on that one. So my experience is being based off this one. It's not on the final hardware and software, but it's as close as it's going to get. It's going to be as close to the one you're going to get when you do purchase it. So I'm just going to run off some really quick tick lists for you. So we're going to go out of 10. The screen, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a blooming nice display. The cameras, I would say I'd give it probably a 7 out of 10. They're good quality. Give it enough light, I'd probably maybe give it an 8. But just because the low light performance is not the greatest, I am going to give it a good solid 7 out of 10 for the cameras. Speaker quality, it's a bit of a letdown. It's probably the lowest thing you're going to give for this phone. I'd probably give that probably a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst in the world, but I would have liked better. Let's put it that way. Battery performance. Now, this is something that I've seen some people say they've got fantastic battery life. Some people say they've got awful battery life. I'm closer to the fantastic battery life. In terms of overall usage, I've probably got, I didn't take any screenshots. I've actually done a factory reset of this one before I did the video. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a future video. And again, my battery life's been closer to the very good battery life. I've been happy with it. In terms of overall usage, you can easily get a day out of it. Inside the phone, you are getting a 3000 milliamp hour. Rocking that processor with this screen is a good combination for battery life against performance and obviously the way it looks. In terms of, let's say, a whole day, I'd probably get, let's say, maybe 3.5 to 4.5 hours screen on time, and that's running it for around 17 to 18 hours. I think the highest I got in one day, it lasted for, 12 hours, and I got about 5.5 hours screen on time. To me, that's impressive, because most people work 9 to 5, get up in the morning, you go to work. If you can use your phone for 5 hours at work, screen on, you're not doing your job. Let's be honest. So it's going to get you through the day. And for the light users, such as a person like my mother, it'll probably last her for nearly 3 days, because the standby on this phone is bloody awesome. I left it, didn't touch it for 3 days, and it only lost about 30% battery, which I thought it was an iPhone kind of, as we all know, the iPhone's quality at the standby, it's in them kind of leagues for that. And that's with regards to the EMUI, the way it has a very aggressive battery management, but if you want enough, you like that, and I think it's a pretty good system, then you're going to get fantastic battery life out of it. So the battery life, I'll probably give it a solid 9 out of 10. And last but not least, it's going to be the overall performance. How does it perform overall? Again, I've been happy with it. For what you're paying, again, sub £200, it's going to be retailing for £189.99. For that kind of price, I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Now, some people go, 9 out of 10 Sam? It's kind of a high score. If this phone was £400, then yeah, it'd be getting a lot lower scores, but it's not. It's 190 quid, under £200. And for that, I thoroughly think it deserves a solid 9 out of 10 for the performance. Again, it's all subjective to what you think it's going to be like, but in my opinion, I'm happy with the way it runs on a daily basis. I've not heard any kind of slowdowns, any kind of bugs. It just works. You turn it on, you take a picture, you turn it on, you go to Instagram, you turn it on, it just works. So I think that might be it for the review portion of the video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can really go down. Again, as you know, I just kind of shoot, just kind of talk. I don't script this. I just kind of talk and I think about what I think about the phone. So it's probably been about a 20-minute video. Yeah, a bit longer than I expected. Is there anything specific you want to know about the 5X? Now, let me know in a comment down below. If I don't reply down below, you can tweet me at samjpullen. I'll generally reply on there a lot quicker than I will on YouTube, just because there's quite a few more comments coming through on YouTube, whereas on Twitter, I generally have a bit more time to reply on there because it comes through instantly to me. Now, if you want to hit me on for Facebook, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Again, all the links for my social profiles are down below. So if there's anything specific, just hit me up and I will answer it for you. Now, question for you, what do you think about Honor? Do you know who Honor are? That's another question for you. Again, let me know down below, let me know on Twitter, what do you think of Honor as a brand, as a company, and more importantly, what do you think of the devices? Again, I think the Honor 7 is one of the best devices that I've tried, and for the price that came in at, that was awesome. This one, it might even kind of go to the next level for the price, the entry level price, but you're getting what I'd say a premium device, but at a mid kind of price point, an entry level to mid-range price point, but you're getting a quality feeling phone. It feels nice, it doesn't feel cheap, it feels quality with it, with its metal, with its nice display, with its awesome fingerprint scanner, I would recommend it. If you're in the market for a phone for under 200 quid and you were thinking, I like the look of that, then get this phone. You're not going to be disappointed with it. If you don't like the way that it looks on here, you can always download a launcher, the Google Now launcher, Nova launcher. You've got options out there. You can do what you want with it. I'd personally give it a try because it's not a bad way to run it. It's just different. But if you like, kind of iOS, if you like the way the iPhone works, then you'll absolutely love the way this one works. But you get the flexibility of Android with the functionality of some of the best features of iOS that I believe anyway. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get off. I want to say thank you for watching the video. And again, if you do want to hit me up, again, the link's all down below. I'll answer pretty much every question you've got about this device or anything else. If you do enjoy this video, then please hit the like button. It is very much appreciated. I know it's a long one, kind of a bit more long-winded than the majority of the reviews you might see on this phone, but I like to talk about it. I like to just kind of give my opinion on it. It's not scripted. It's not, this is this, this is that. This is just a real user giving his opinion about what the phone is like. So if you do enjoy the video, please hit the like button. It is very much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, go on, subscribe. It's free. Go on, you want to. Anyway, people, again, I do appreciate you watching, and you'll hopefully see me, in my next video. Cheers, everyone.